Some big-time news out of Friday Night Smackdown as WWE has crowned a brand new world champion, and her name is Tiffany Stratton. It is indeed Tiffy time in WWE. Tiffany Stratton cashes in her Money in the Bank contract to become the brand new Women's World Champion over on Friday Night Smackdown on the new debut episode of Friday Night Smackdown. As far as it being 3 hours ago, major stuff coming out of this show. We're going to talk about it. We're also going to talk about some potential surprises planned for Monday Night Raw on Netflix. That is just creeping up close as ever. And we're going to talk about The Rock. Will he be at Monday Night Raw? We have a bit of an update on that, as well as The Rock buying more shares of WWE as he looks to complete his quote-unquote hostile takeover of the company. Not so hostile, but we'll get into that as well. A lot to get into. Be sure to leave a thumbs up, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you get notified whenever a new video is released. All right. First things first, we have to talk about what happened on Friday Night Smackdown. We had Nia Jax competing with Bianca Belair, at which point her friend in storyline, her friend Tiffany Stratton comes in, cashes in her Money in the Bank contract after hitting her over the head with a briefcase, hitting a moonsault. 1, 2, 3, Tiffy time. She finished her story and becomes the new world champion. They had been teasing dissension between the two. They had been teasing the potential breakup of these two for the past couple of months, and it has finally come to fruition as Tiffany Stratton on the episode premiere of SmackDown at 3 hours becomes the new champion. They have officially gone full swing with Tiffany Stratton. She has had a lot of the fans behind her over the last couple of months. Her rise has been something that needs to be studied. Even going back to her time in NXT, you could tell that she was someone who was going to be a star. Her reign as the women's champion in NXT is, honestly, to this day, probably one of the best reigns that any world champion in that developmental territory has had. And you have to give it up to her because at every turn, she has delivered. And regardless of what you may think about her personally, I think Tiffany Stratton has proved that she is a megastar in WWE. And her star is only going to rise from here on out. We are entering one of the most important seasons in all of WWE, that being the WrestleMania run. And for her to be the world champion, at least going into the Royal Rumble, or I would think way past it and into WrestleMania, I think it speaks to the level of trust that WWE has in her. It speaks to the talent that she possesses, and it speaks to her connection with the fans. Like, one of the most over chants you get outside of the, yeah, eating, whoa, that Cody does, is Tiffany's, it's Tiffy time. Like people legitimately lose their minds over that chant. And it is just so great to see Tiffany Stratton be crowned the champion, and I think really spice up the SmackDown women's division as far as, what it can do next. Because I think Tiffany versus Bianca is a money match. Tiffany versus Naomi is a money match. You have so much potential here for great matches and storytelling that, as great as Nia Jax was and as good as she's gotten, a lot better than she used to be, I think we get a little bit of a step up here with Tiffany Stratton, at least in the in-ring aspect of things. Now, I do want to briefly talk about some changes that happened in SmackDown. We did see on Friday Night SmackDown some changes to the actual ring mat. And if you guys notice, Friday Night SmackDown over the past decade has not really had a specific ring canvas. All canvases in the main roster in WWE have traditionally just been a white canvas, and there hasn't been much else on there. However, tonight, Friday Night SmackDown did something a little bit different, having a blue ring canvas. And that is kind of cool, as one of the things that people have been clamoring for years. I think is WWE to have a different look. It just sometimes seems like everything in WWE tends to look the same, tends to feel the same, tends to vibe the same. And outside of what they used to do in NXT Black and Gold, we haven't really seen WWE changed things up in that respect. And, it was nice to see them kind of do something different than we're used to on Friday Night SmackDown. As we take a quick look at that is indeed what the ring canvas looked like. That is what it was on this week's edition of Friday Night SmackDown. You can see blue on the canvas. That seems like it's here to stay. And if some of the reports that we're hearing are any indication, it looks like we are also going to see a black canvas appear for Monday Night Raw. And it's going to be chock full of good old-fashioned advertisement. That picture's been going around the internet as well. So big changes coming to Monday Night Raw. Big change already happened to Friday Night SmackDown, as that show is now 3 hours. But we're going to stick with it as far as WWE goes, and we're going to talk about The Rock, the man, the myth, the legend, the final boss of WWE, as he likes to say. So we know that The Rock, that's a mistake. We know that The Rock is currently not scheduled for WrestleMania. That is been making the rounds over the past couple of months. And we also know that The Rock is, someone who has been very integral to the plans that WWE has had and been making leading into WrestleMania season traditionally. However, we now are learning a little bit more. Well, stars like John Cena, Roman Reigns, CM Punk, and others, as well as Rhea Ripley, Liv Morgan, are already planned and advertised for Friday, or for the Netflix premiere, and everyone basically expects Penta to be there as the debuting luchador. Everyone's wondering what's going on with The Rock, and here is what we know about that situation, courtesy of Dave Meltzer of Wrestling Observer Newsletter. Quote, "Nobody had directly told us that Dwayne Johnson will be on the show, WWE Netflix premiere, but I would think there's a good shot of it. There is a belief that he's doing WrestleMania, although nobody knows what capacity. As noted, Cena versus Rhodes right now is scheduled, meaning the original plans for Rhodes versus Rock are off." And this is worth noting because one of the big plans for The Rock's next match was to do The Rock versus Cody. That is his next match. That is the match that he wants to do over Rock versus Reigns. They feel like they can do Rock versus Reigns at any point. However, right now they want to focus, or they being The Rock mainly, wants to focus on Cody as his next opponent if he ever has it. So this could indicate, at least Meltzer's musings, as I like to call them, this could indicate that The Rock won't be actually competing at WrestleMania in the ring, but he might do a segment. We know that currently in the spring, he is slated to do Moana reshoots. Those were not factored in originally to the planning of his schedule until just about a month or two ago. And ever since those reshoots were reported, it's been looking less and less likely that we will see The Rock at WrestleMania. However, for those who are wondering, well, what does this mean for The Rock in WWE? I don't think he's going to be going away anytime soon. I think he's going to be around for a while because he just acquired some more TKO stock. He acquired $13.75 million in TKO stock, according to a new SEC filing. This brings his grand total in stocks to $41.25 million worth. That is a whopping percentage for him and a whopping amount, I should say, out of his pocket. Much of which actually I think he was gifted originally, but so I guess it's not a whopping amount. But hey, man, when you acquire like tens of millions of dollars in stock, regardless, that is a major acquisition. So The Rock is looking to tie himself more and more to WWE. I do think that, for the next couple of years, regardless of any of this, for the next couple of years, The Rock is going to be around, whether it be WrestleMania, SummerSlam, Royal Rumble, which we'll do a video on this later, but is going to be in Saudi Arabia next year. Like, look, there's so much that he's going to be a part of and so much they're going to need him for. I think, if he's not here at this WrestleMania, I think he will be in others as well. But a lot of stuff going to happen. We could see, who knows? Maybe they do a little bit of a confrontation between him and John Cena, tease the fans a little bit, see if there's any appetite for maybe doing that at SummerSlam. I doubt that's going to happen, but you never know. We got to figure out and see what John Cena's doing. But guys, We're going to be here live Monday night. I'm going to be doing a watch along of the debut edition of Raw on Netflix. So consider joining me. Be sure to hit that like button, subscribe, hit that notification bell so you don't miss it. And as always, keep it real. Thank you so much for everyone who made it this far in the video. Appreciate every single one of you. Till next time. Bye.